Wasteful spending, according to taxpayer-funded grants uncovered by Iowa Senator Joni Ernst and the nonprofit Open the Books, the U.S. funneled over $1.3 billion to China and Russia for so-called pointless projects in the past 5 years.
So let's go off the floor and off the wall and break it down. As you said, it's Open the Books. Between 2017 and 2022, they used data from a government website. So this is just what's reported, what we know of. And what we're going to break down today is money specifically to the tune of $1.3 billion that went to either China or Russia. Here's a doozy, the first one.
Yeah, we'll start with China. Look, $58.7 million went to China from the State Department. And of that, just as an illustration, as an example, $100,000 of that money to promote gender equality awareness.
Okay. It apparently came through a series of New Yorker magazine cartoons.
That should resonate.
That should resonate in China. By the way, they've got they have a one-child policy for a really long time. So if a woman actually wanted to have more than one child, they couldn't. They've reversed that now. Like, they've got gender issues over there, but we're the ones that are going to fix it to the tune of 100,000?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah, you pointed out earlier.
Here's another one right here in Russia.
Yeah, this one is going to take a little time. How about $770,000? Georgia Tech sent through an NIH grant to Russia. It's a total of a $2.7 million NIH grant, and $770,000 of that went to this Pavlov Institute of Physiology. So what'd they do? They experimented on cats. They put electrodes in cats' spines.
Into their spines and muscles, and removed parts of their brains. And then they locked the cats in metal cages and forced them to walk on treadmills. And then the cats were killed and dissected.
Yeah.
I don't know, $770,000. Were the treadmills expensive? Were the cats expensive? Like, did we export it to Russia because we would never do that here?
Big cat guy. But in all seriousness, this stuff can't be done in America. That's part of why they send this stuff overseas, like where they don't have our same laws and morals to do stuff and experiment on animals. The next thing you know, we're sending a ton of money over to Russia.
And what are we learning from the cats? I don't know.
That would be pretty fascinating.
It'd be interesting.
Hey, speaking of studies we can't do here in America because of laws and ethics, how about sending or experimenting on viruses, supercharging viruses to see what their effect is when it comes to vaccine resistance or whatever it may be? We can't do that here, gain of function research, but they can in China. And of course, we spend a bunch of money there.
And we saw how that worked out. We don't know how much of this funding necessarily was before or after the COVID outbreak, but millions of dollars to the Wuhan lab through EcoHealth Alliance, phrases that we've talked about during wall walks before. This is almost all exporting to other countries things we can't do here, as you said. Here's another one. Health insurance companies in Russia to the tune of $4.7 million. I don't know. I can't pronounce the name of the Russian company that's getting it. But the same company was sanctioned by the Treasury Department during the invasion of Ukraine in 2022.
Yeah, one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing or doesn't care what the other hand is doing. We are sending money to companies while sanctioning those same companies when it comes to the Ukraine war. This is just the coherence in how we spend your taxpayer
Let's go to the incoherence on the final wall here of how we spend it as well. China and the U.S. military. So the amount of money that tech support that our military is giving to, why are we doing this?
I have no idea why. We are spending $6 million in tech support of, quote, the military's deployment and distribution command software with China.
Other previously unexposed grants include $51.6 million from the Department of Defense to China. I don't, Rachel, I'm gonna need to phone a friend here on this, on why. We don't know why. It doesn't explain why.
The DOD inspector has warned in the past about spending money using Chinese IT companies and government projects, and yet your tax dollars still go to something that almost assuredly undermines your national security.
And they don't want us to know any of this. Without this study that Senator Ernst and Open the Books did, it's all buried in the minutiae and details of bills that are passed and money that's funneled to nonprofits or others to go to foreign, and then who's...
And it's a drop in the bucket.
And it's a drop in the bucket. You're
what
right.
they actually do with all of your tax dollars.
There
all right, Rachel, over
We're here to raise your morale.
I mean, you uncover it, but does that mean that now they'll cut it? I mean, like, this is now exposed. I'm going to run for office just on this one issue, letting the Chinese pay for their own tech support. I think I'll get elected.